Good morning. My name is Kristen Richards, and I am the director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO, and I am thrilled to join you all here today to announce the state's investment in AeroQ quantum hardware headquarters right here in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood. DCEO is proud to support economic development in all of our communities throughout the state, and we are committed to investing in Illinois' workforce across a range of industries. Through investments in comprehensive incentives like Edge for Startups and Invent, DCEO has been able to help the state's economy grow and thrive, giving companies access to resources and comprehensive services that they need to succeed. I am proud that AeroQ is able to access resources through our Invent Vista program that is designed to reinforce sectors and technologies aligned with the Federal CHIPS and Science Act. The VISTA initiative is channeling investments into businesses within sectors like quantum science and advanced materials. And when coupled with Edge for Startups, a recent addition to DCEO's portfolio that took a legacy economic development program and tailored it to meet the needs of new companies, we are able to partner with AeroQ to get to today and the opportunity for us to celebrate their decision to invest right here in Illinois. Now, these programs are examples of what I think my colleagues and I at DCEO do best. We listen to and we work with stakeholders to develop public policy solutions to incentivize job creation and capital investment in Illinois. I want to thank some of them that are here today from DCEO: Kaz Peters, Christy Dula, Jamie Gladfelter, Donna Ewan, Cicella Smith. You're all tirelessly always seeking new ways to meet the needs of emerging sectors, and I just want to thank you for all that you do. And to companies that are making decisions about where to locate or expand, my message to you is clear. There is no better place to live, work, or do business than right here in Illinois. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce my colleague from Intersect Illinois, our inaugural Chief Quantum Officer, Pryce Chesani.
To start by lowering the mic. Well, I think Governor Pritzker, Nick, and Kristen said a lot. I'm not sure there's a lot to be said, but first, thank you so much for having me here today, and I'm really pleased to join AeroQ at this milestone. Nick, Johannes, and the AeroQ team are quantum pioneers, but not only that, as you've heard, they're tireless proponents for Illinois. They're amazing thought partners for our state, and they're dear friends personally. I couldn't be happier for them. It means a lot to me to have them be doing this work here in Illinois and to be talking about this work that they're doing in Illinois to others. AeroQ's commitment to growing it in Illinois exemplifies our position as the epicenter of quantum technologies. As you've heard today, quantum computing and quantum technologies will have an impact across many different sectors. As companies such as AeroQ commercialize quantum and advance the frontiers of what's possible, there is an opportunity for tremendous job growth, and to do it in a way that leverages all of our talented workforce everywhere throughout the state and throughout the world. And AeroQ is also a firm and passionate partner in our efforts for inclusive growth in this industry. We didn't get here to this place, to this leadership position in quantum by accident. It's built on a lot of intentional and very hard work, starting with Governor Pritzker, who had the foresight, the vision, to realize that this was going to be a game-changing technology, and for Illinois. Director Richards and her team helped really hard with the planning and execution to realize this vision, to help us get out in front of this emerging industry, and a lot of hard work from many of our ecosystem partners, ecosystem leaders, like the Chicago Quantum Exchange, Duality, the nation's first quantum startup accelerator, our multiple quantum research centers across our amazing universities and national labs, and untiring support from the city and state partners like P33, Intersect Illinois, all of us worked really hard together to put us in this unique position to become a global quantum hub. Quantum technology is complex. It draws from many interconnected fields and requires a joint effort between scientists, engineers, technicians, lots of people from communications, lawyers, and end users across the entire ecosystem. The IQMP, the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park, with its shared infrastructure and ecosystem, is designed to support and accelerate these innovation efforts. As IRAQ continues to grow, it will benefit from close proximity to IQMP, and IRAQ's efforts will bring even more transformative growth to our industry and to our ecosystem. I'm really pleased to congratulate IRAQ, to welcome this next phase for IRAQ. They're such an integral member of our quantum community. Congratulations. Thank you, and let us know how we can help. And Governor Pritzker, Director Kristen, and your entire team, thank you so much for being such leaders for Illinois. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, I'd like to bring Governor Pritzker back up again for questions.
I'll trade places with you. Although the smartest people around are all the quantum experts here, so I'm happy to take any questions from members of the media. I see a few of you, so I'm sure you have questions. I'm sure they're deep quantum questions. Yes, Olivia. You want to talk about quantum superposition? Yeah. Well, as you know, we began this process last spring knowing that we need to start making a change in the way we've been managing, particularly at the two facilities that we're going to be replacing, but also thinking about the entire Department of Corrections and what upgrades and changes need to be made, because this is a system of correctional institutions that have been, they're 70 to 100 plus years old, and not really appropriate for modern day rehabilitation. And that's what we really want in a corrections system. There's a reason it's called corrections. So in terms of the date that was set, this is a date set by the courts, as you know, in their decision that Stateville needed to have the prisoners moved. So we're following that order, making sure that we're getting that done in the right amount of time. It's not easy. It's a relatively short period of time, but we do, because we have other corrections institutions in the state that have some space, we're able to do it in the period that they're asking us to. In terms of the time period, we've talked about 3 to 5 years to build each of these new facilities, and so it'll take some real time for us to begin the process and then move through that 3 to 5 year period. Yeah, they each, it might happen simultaneously, but it's 3 to 5 years to build another Stateville, or at least a replacement is what I really mean. Yeah.
Governor, do you agree with Mayor Johnson that
That's a personnel matter for the Board of Education, and a decision that I guess the mayor is making. So not something that I intend for the state to interfere with. And I know that that's a process that will, take a little bit of time.
What about the Chicago resident?
I'm sorry?
Is the Chicago resident, do you have any opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is that we need to have an excellent education system to provide for our young people across the city of Chicago, not to mention the the rest of the state of Illinois. I sometimes like to remind people, I know that you all are Chicago reporters, but it's only about 20 to 23% of students that are in the city of Chicago. The other roughly 80% are outside the city, and many of them downstate Illinois. And so we have to think about the education systems across the state, the superintendents of those school systems, and make sure that we're supporting them.
Is it problematic that this is happening in the middle of a contract negotiation, and ostensibly because the union and the mayor want the school system to take out this high interest loan to help pay for it?
It seems challenging, I have to say, for the city and for the Board of Education and for CPS. So, I mean, if you're asking for just a general observation, that's my observation. That seems challenging to change out the players in the middle of a negotiation. But having said that, I mean, it is the prerogative of the Board of Education and the mayor to make a recommendation to them. So we'll have to see what comes of that.
The complaint from CTU has been that Martinez didn't work hard enough to secure extra funding. You and lawmakers have said over and over again, they're maxed out in terms of state funding. There's no $1 billion extra. This loan is to sort of kind of cover the costs as they anticipate perhaps at a future date getting more state funding. But there isn't more funding, is there, down the road?
I mean, I think I've said this before, but, borrowing to pay for operating expenses in a business, in government, et cetera, is not a great idea unless you know how you're going to pay for that, because it's going to come due. And so if you're investing in assets, that's one thing. Just, again, speaking as a business person, as somebody running state government, borrowing to pay for operations is something that, well, frankly, the state of Illinois did for too many years. We're not doing that now. And we're focused on, at the state anyway, if we borrow, it's going to be and you've seen it in, for example, our infrastructure bill, right? We borrow to invest in assets that have a long-term payoff for the state. It's just not something to do for operations. Having said that, it's important to me that we put more dollars into education. I've been doing that since I became governor, and I've tried to find it wherever I could in the state budget or from the revenues that come into state government. As you know, I worked very hard and invested significantly in trying to pass a graduated income tax for the state, like most other states have. And that would have helped us to fund education, but we've managed, nevertheless, to add more than $2 billion to our K-12 system since I became governor, and we're going to continue to add as we can and to follow the evidence-based funding model.
Can you remark on that a little bit more, because it's not just CTU, the Illinois Education Association, Federation of Teachers, saying that 350 more or 3 million more.
I'm on their side. I mean, Amanda, I know what you're saying, and to be clear, I would like to put more money into our education system. I think we all have acknowledged, just by virtue of our following the evidence-based funding model, that we are not funding properly education, K-12 education in the state of Illinois. So now the question is, where do you find the dollars to do that? And that's obviously one of the biggest challenges of being governor and running state government and legislature too, is passing a balanced budget. As you know, my predecessor was unable to do that for a couple of years. It's not an easy task. It's just not, right? But every year, every state has to do it. Illinois didn't do it for 2 years, and we were left with $17 billion of a bill backlog. So it's a challenge, and I know the city of Chicago is undergoing similar challenges, right? When you need more revenue and you've got expenditures to make. How do you make that work? You want to grow the economy. You want to make sure you have the right revenues matching the expenditures you need to make. It's a challenge, and Illinois wasn't good at it for many years. So far, I think state government has done a pretty good job since I became governor, working with the legislature to actually get balanced budgets. I know that's what the city of Chicago is working toward. Yeah.
State Republicans introduced a bill making it felony for non-citizens to vote. They admit it goes over them. Here in Chicago, we joke about dead people voting or people voting twice. How do you kind of balance this? Are there safeguards so people, regardless of how they vote, can have confidence in government that they can do well at the
That's a stunt. It is already illegal to vote if you are a non-citizen. So, you can't register to vote without ID, and you can't vote if you are a non-citizen. So, that's just a stunt. That's something leading into the November election they'd like to raise, but we have no signs that there are people that are voting or have been over any of the last bunch of elections in Illinois who are non-citizens. Thank you.